Hello, uncomfortable leadership, part two. I'm not done. All right, so I just want to I'm going to share my experience. It's not an absolute truth, but if you value my expertise from my experiences and want to make some changes, here's an opportunity. Leadership. All right, so very few times did I hear anybody ask, what's not working? I really didn't hear anybody ask about that. People might listen to something that I would bring up, that there's a problem, and and then they would say, okay, well, that's great to hear. But the accountability of following through on what the problem was or next steps was never really owned or achieved. And I think one of the frustrations about that is time and again, there's this expectation that I'm going to show up and I am going to contribute to an idea you have. And that's great. I love the idea of being involved in something and let's work together. But when I show up and you say, hey, look, this is my really cool, I'm going to show you my graph. And it's like, I've got this one bottle and this other bottle, and we call them pillars of healthcare, and we love it. What do you think? I hate pillars. Somebody out there knows exactly what I'm talking about. Listen, it's great to be excited about ideas, but when you're inviting other people to the table, to be a consultant over and over and over again is really frustrating. I would much prefer to be a collaborator in developing the idea of whether or not we're going to use pillars or foundations. That would be cool. I know people, you can think that it's impossible for, things to slow down to that level that you have to do that kind of work. Well, that's the uncomfortable part. Uncomfortable leadership requires slowing down, not achieving the way that you think that you need to, and finding different ways to connect, and ask uncomfortable questions. Ask, what are we not doing well? When you sit down to have coffee with somebody, tell me, what do you see as the biggest problem here? Take that in, because that is the leadership you need to look at. The parents, the frequent users, the ones that are walking through the halls, the ones that are standing in the halls for half their days, observing you in your workplace. There's a lot of feedback there. Uncomfortable leadership requires a vulnerability level to sit there and say, okay, let's look at that. I know that that's a big culture issue, that in your department or within the sub-department and the other department and then the managers and how it all works. But everybody has the opportunity to make some really good connections by asking really uncomfortable questions. And not just asking them to check a box, but asking them as part of collaboration, building a solid foundation with people who are living through it. Anyway, remember, when you are inviting a medical mom or parent to the table, you'll probably end up having some people that show up when they have energy. And that's great, because there are people that live out their lives with their children through their hospital time as pediatrics, then they have energy. But then there are those that live out their time and are progressing with increased care levels. Those people have great value to share in the hospital. And the question becomes, how do you access them? Going back, I think I did mention, you don't bring people to the boardroom, you go to where the people are. You have to be creative about how to reach people in their environments. I think COVID provides a great opportunity to do some of that, because we have no choice but to stay in our spaces. but you need to join us there. You need to look at ways to have very meaningful data collection at bedside with single questions, not surveys with 10 answers. I'm looking around right now because I still have a survey from, when was it? 2015. I was given a survey and it had 40 questions on it. I never did get it back. I would have liked to, but I was so tired. I was drowning. I'm not the only one that's drowning. The life of a medical mom, a frequent flyer with children with medically technology dependence, are drowning. You need to figure out how to show up where they are and how to be very precise about asking the questions that lay you vulnerable and lay you responsible to fix, right? And that comes back to, what are we not doing right? There's something wrong here. How are we going to fix this? And then listen deeply, and through uncomfortable rage or crying or whatever it is. The onus is really on showing up in a humane way where the people are. All right, we're going on to happier topics. I'm sure we'll circle back to this at some point, but that, take it to heart. Work out what you can with it. Thank you.